I'm Patrick Murphy-Racy for Dury's TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, I'm going to use my imagination and I'm going to explore what Canon might be up to in the next year. Canon has said that they are now changing their focus from DSLRs to mirrorless, which means in a great sense they've kind of finally finished being in denial, which is great. I've been a Sony user for about 5.5, almost 6 years now, and I kept waiting for someone to figure out that mirrorless was in fact the future. And it took Canon a very long time to figure it out, but they got it, which is good, because it's the largest camera manufacturer in the world and they've got the market share that everybody wants. Canon has offered that they're going to have a mirrorless camera body of consequence by the first quarter of 2019. And this is cool. This is a great big step forward. But what might it be? That's the question. So the path of least resistance for Canon right now might be simply making something they could call a 5D Mark V, where they take the mirror out of the mirror box and put in a proper electronic viewfinder. Now, if they did that, they would all of a sudden have a huge amount of the benefits that we all get as mirrorless camera users. But it wouldn't make the cameras that much smaller, because the sort of mirror box, the area, if they're going to use the same lenses, it's going to have to stay the same distance from the sensor. So you don't get to shrink the camera down like Fuji, like Olympus, like Leica, and like Sony, unless you can push the sensor forward right to the back of the lens mount flange. So if Canon decides to take kind of a shortcut, they could very simply just offer the same camera body. They could market the 5D Mark IV and the 5D Mark V with the same exact sensor in it, just one being an EVF only camera and the other one being a DSLR with a mirror box that flops up and down. So if they did that, it wouldn't really save a huge amount of weight. It wouldn't really change the bulk of the camera too much, although the top, the sort of rounded top of the camera, could literally disappear, and it could be a very different looking machine all of a sudden. I don't know what they'll do, but if they choose to go into full blast mirrorless, it's going to require them to, at the very least, make a new camera body that's way better than anything they've made before that they've called mirrorless, because they've all been, let's face it, soccer mom cameras, and nice, but not what the competition has right now. But if they choose to come out with a true, like, pro level mirrorless box, they're going to have to provide a bunch of lenses all at the outset. Now, Canon's got the money bags. They could do that, but will they? I don't know, and that's the question. So if you're shooting Canon right now, that's the question you should be asking, because if the company has said that they're changing their entire focus all of a sudden from DSLR and then moving all their emphasis into mirrorless, that could impact you as a Canon user in a negative way or in a positive way. I don't know which way it's going to go. But it's going to be very interesting to kind of see what happens next. Unfortunately, Canon's not going to be able to bring a camera to market as quickly as the mirrorless competitors have proven that they can do. So they're going to be losing market share all the while they develop whatever it is they're going to make next. You know, if the 5D Mark IV had just had an EVF in it, it would have changed everything, especially for people shooting tons of video. The fact of having a mirror inside the body is a real hassle, and it complicates things very much. It's not an ideal situation. So if they had just done that, it would have been really helpful for Canon users. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, on the Nikon front, I'm kind of worried. Why am I worried? Nikon has really been suffering financially for quite some time. And they canceled a couple of super zoom cameras that were due to come out, I believe, in the early part of 2017. And that was a bummer, because that super zoom segment is kind of a small segment, but it sells really well in consumer cameras especially. I use the RX10 II myself, made by Sony, which I really like. I don't take it on every job, but it's really cool to have a leaf shutter camera that can sync flash at any speed and have a Zeiss lens and a big monster zoom and a 2.8 aperture, etc., etc. But anyway, I'm worried about Nikon. I just don't know what they're going to do next. I'm hoping that they will be able to continue to compete. Nikon's been this sort of professional camera for a long, long time, since the press corps guys kind of started rotating out of Vietnam back in the 60s. So I'm really hoping that Nikon makes it in the current climate of camera building and camera design and camera technology. So whether you're a Canon shooter, a Nikon shooter, or you're already doing mirrorless, the good people at Dury stand ready to help you, not just to sell you something off of a website, but to give you good counsel. They can help you with lens selection, they can help you with brand. They're really there to cater to the professional and the sort of high-end photo enthusiast. People that want to do a lot more about their cameras than just how to turn it on, put it on green zone, and shoot. The staff at Dury's they really do cater to professionals, but also to people that have done a lot of research on YouTube and really want to understand photography at a deeper level. So as this mirrorless thing, it's kind of a train that's coming in your photography. As you kind of consider what you're going to do next, you should really think about talking to the good people at Dury's about what decisions you need to make, which system you're in now, what kind of work you're doing, what kind of work you want to be doing, whether a DSLR is going to hold you back from doing excellent video production, or whether it's more beneficial even to stay DSLR because of all your glass or whatever the case may be. But it's nice to have Dury's there to kind of help and assist you decide, make these decisions that you're going to have to be making in the next couple of years. Because mirrorless it should be obvious to everyone, mirrorless is not a fad. Mirrorless is here to stay. And I personally believe that mirrorless is going to be how all cameras are made in the next 3 to 5 years. I don't think you'll be able to buy a DSLR in 5 years from now. I just don't think it doesn't make sense. It's an inefficient machine that's very outmoded. It's too old school, and it will not allow for the technologies that exist right now and will be coming available soon, like global shutters and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm hoping this is helpful. Don't know if it will be for you, but I'm Patrick Murphy-Racy for Dury's TV. Thank you so much for watching.